my shed and welcome back to a end of year outtakes vlog. I did say in one of my previous vlogs, if I had enough outtakes that I think are quite funny or worth looking at, I'd put a little vlog together and put it out over the Christmas period when we're all sat at home bored, not knowing what to watch. So this is it. Some of it's probably funnier to me than it is to other people, but without any ado, let's head on into this first clip. So this was very early in the year. I'd gone out for a day's just fishing for silvers, and as you see from that first cast, straight into a tree. It wasn't a first cast. I'd been fishing all morning, and the wind had turned and was turned into my face, but I'd had quite a few fish in the net. So, yeah, we'll carry on. So first cast, once the wind changed, float straight into the bush. Nonetheless, got it all out, got it all reset up again, and thought we'd have another go, all ready to go. This is the very next cast after putting a new hook link and everything on. Here we go. Nice little swing. No, straight into the tree again. That was pretty much how that fishing ended up there. Well, to be honest, the rest of the day I just fished with the feeder rod, so didn't become quite so much of an issue. So this next clip, we've moved on now, and this is all about missed bites. I'm sat here and I've had a little chub bite there, and I think something's run, because I'm tying up a hook link, I think something's run under the stage. Don't realise I've had a bite, and then definitely got a chub bite on there. And interestingly, I did put this out as a short on YouTube, and it had over 840,000 views and got me 750 subscribers, so that was good. So then later in the year I moved up into another peg, and I've just got my back turned. I'm just out of shot in this one, but I've got another chub bite, and for some reason I don't hear the reel clicking away. Fortunately, I've got the clutch set loose enough, and when I realise, go and hit the rods, and that was a chub as well on there. So this one here this is my friend Darren, it's not just me. The irony of here is he's looking at his phone to see the football scores, but there's no signal down in that valley. But if you keep an eye on the right hand rod, you'll have a little tap on the rod. And obviously he's not seen it because he's looking at his floater now. Here goes the rod, and he's well away. And mate, that clip has us in stitches whenever we watch it. I like the way he sort of slowly picks the rod up, and is there a fish on this rod or is it the other rod, and the rod moves forward, and it's like, no, definitely on this rod. So and he's more worried about sorting out the other rod. The lines were all over the place, but yeah, he does get that in, and that was a nice barbel on that rod. But just again in slow motion, because it makes me laugh so much, it's just off goes the rod. It's going now, you can see it's going. He's oblivious to it, looking on his phone. Well, here we go. Better get them rods. So yeah. So now I'm on one of the Ewing competitions socials, and what you've got in the background here, we've gone over for the barbecue, and as you can see, there's a few flames coming up on the barbecue. I forget what Neil's got there. He's got some sort of mat there that you put food on once it's cooked, but obviously the mat's already caught fire, and everyone's oblivious, chatting away. Meanwhile, Neil's trying to get these flames under control. And I didn't put this in the actual vlog on the day. As I say, this is outtakes, but yeah, we all had a laugh, and there's Neil making the best job he can with the barbecue. So this is meant to be slips and falls. Right. The amount of times that happens to me on that chair, and I only caught it once on video, and there's a little slip there. But those were the only two slips that I had. So the next one is, if you know, I go on sometimes my intro is a walk down to the peg, and yeah, it's how often this happens. You're walking along and you come across to a tree that's fallen, and yeah, that's what happened that day. Next section now is fish misbehaving. We all know about sometimes fish, they just don't want to stay still for a picture. So the first clip here, I'm in France with James and I've got a grass. I don't really photograph grass carp simply because this is what they're like on the map. But this, we were struggling that week, not doing very well. I can't remember the exact weight, but this fish was over 40 pounds. So I thought I'd try and get a clip on it just to make the some action on the vlog, if you like. But yeah, usual thing of a grassy, it didn't want to behave. So we ended up, it wasn't out of the water too long, and if you've ever caught a grassy, you know that. I was standing in the water for half an hour before that fish was ready to swim off happily. But yeah, it did swim off. But as I say, it was, I can't remember what it weighed, it was over 40 pounds though, that was. So yeah, a nice grassy. But it's not just me who has problems with their fish. So this next clip will be James for the nice fish in the night. Makes me laugh in a minute. So when you're ready, well, I was ready all the time with the camera. It's when he was ready. But yeah, fish misbehaving as they do. They don't like being held up quite often, as you know.
Chill out, boy.
Battery's flat, mate. Yep. And then another one for James, another mirror. A lovely fish, but again, didn't really want to behave itself.
On a portrait, mate, okay.
And then this was me on a club lake, and I'm on my own, so I've got the camera set up, trying to fire off pictures. I think it's either 28 or 29 pound common, and yeah, it's another one. Just didn't want to behave.
Come around.
There we go, got there in the end. So this is about my baiting up. People have commented about how accurate I am with a catapult and then casting out. And as you can see, like these balls of bait is exactly where I want the baits to go. Perfectly being cast out. And then this next shot, so I'm putting bait out, again accurately baiting, exactly where I want the bait to land. Get the rod up, let's cast the rod onto the baited area, spot on, and before I can even get the rod on the pod, barbel on. There you go, it's just taken the hook then. And yeah, so that's what baiting is like and what people comment on. What you don't see is this what happens sometimes. I've turned up this morning, the mix definitely isn't dry enough. I'm trying to bait up just beyond that stick that's sticking out the bottom. As you've just seen that first one, everything broke up and I've covered the whole peg. I think I'll give it another go. No, covered the peg again. Give it another go, and I think this one actually stayed together. So now I'm thinking, oh, that's it, the mix is great. Let's give it another go. No, let's cover the whole peg again. And long story short, I didn't catch anything that morning. I just cocked the whole peg up by distributing bait everywhere. So yeah, it's not always as accurate my baiting up with a catapult as it looks on my vlogs. So the next section is there's two things that I do all the time with vlogs. One is I'm always doing this with my hands, and that comes from many years ago, late 80s to the early 90s. I did motorbike racing, and you'd do weekend meetings, so it'd be Brands Hatch, Snetterton. So you'd race on the Saturday night you'd go to the bar for something to eat and maybe a pint, maybe two. Not much because you're going to race the next day, you want a clear head. But if you looked around the bar, all you'd see is motorbike road. This is how round the bend, giving it all of that. And I'm sure that's where it comes from. So when I'm doing a vlog, I tend to sit like this. If you watch, I'm quite often holding my hand so as I'm not doing this. And the other thing I do is, well, I'll put a clip in now. But I'm on yeah. So the other thing they say, never work with animals and technology, isn't it? They say. So occasionally I take the dog fishing, not often. As he's got older, he's got a bit. He gets a bit bored now, to be honest, with the fishing. When he was younger, he was always up for it, so he doesn't come often. But yeah, they say don't work with animals, and these are some examples with my dog. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, I'm going to start off, if my dog keeps out of the way. Alfie, come on. Come here. Right, what I did do when I first got here is, yeah, I just dropped a bit of hemp in the edge here because I can see roach and everything in front of me. So now my dog does like a bit of bait. Not hemp seed, that's hemp seed going out, but he thinks it's pellets I'm throwing out. So he's there waiting for a bit of pellet, but he's not getting any. This kills him. He loves luncheon meat. That queue of luncheon meat, he wants it. So yeah, that's very hard for my dog. So sit down. Come on, sit down here. Sit. Well, good morning. The other thing, technology. Here I am. I did a little demonstration of I haven't got it now, my Toslan bait boat, and yeah, that particular day I just couldn't get any satellites to come up. I had been using the boat around the other side of the lake, but in this corner where there was no wind, I just couldn't get the satellites up. So I'm trying to show that the boat can go out to preset waypoints, drop the bait and bring itself back. For fuck's sake. So there you go, just a few things that went out. Trust me, there's been a lot more slips than I caught on camera, and there's been a lot more goose up. Times I've put a float in a tree on the 7. I've even a couple of times overcast and put a lead or a feeder on the opposite bank. Fortunately, I've always got them back, but never when the camera's running, otherwise I would have put them in here. But yeah, the year hasn't been a total disaster. If you remember, yeah, the year hasn't been a total disaster, and there has been some very good moments. If you remember, up on the 7, I had the double take with a 6.5 pound chub, and I think it was an 8.4 barbel. And then,
unbelievably, I've just had a double take
up on the Trent, just as I was packing up, I think it was an 8.2 barbel and an 11.4 barbel, double take.
And then the larger one, on that margin spot, I've not even unhooked them yet. I thought I'd quickly get.
And then on the carp front, I've had 33 20s this year. That's probably the best one, I think, that black as your hat, 27 pounder on the syndicate. And I've had 2 English 30s. It's 31 pound 2 ounce on the syndicate lake. Beautiful fish. That is actually the biggest fish in the lake. It has done 34 pounds when it's carrying spawn. As I say, it's 31.2 when I had it. in the summer. I think that was July time. July? Yeah, July time. But what a beautiful fish that is. And then I had that Sandhurst, and I did do a flog on Sandhurst. This one was 39 pounds 14, fish known as mohawk. Apparently it normally goes between 42 and 44. And the irony of that weight of 39.14 was later in the year I double checked my scales against 2 other sets, and they're actually reading 4 ounces under, so that was actually £40 2 ounce. But yeah, 39.14 is what the records will show, because that's what it weighed on the day. But if I think I've got a 40 again and other people around, I'll double check it on their scales as well. So there you go, that's been the year. It's been, I don't know how many vlogs I've put on this year, quite a few. I tried to do more vlogs than I did the previous year. Viewing figures are really good, 2,600 subscribers now as well. A couple of videos have got near to 10,000 views, so that's good. And I'm going to keep doing at least for another year. I'll do another year of vlogs next year. Got a couple of ideas of things to do. Got a couple of people that, one person I've got to go with on the Trent. I've got to contact the guy Craig who I met on the Trent. I said I'd take him up to the Severn for a trip. So got a few ideas for fishing trips next year, and hopefully you'll join along with me and keep watching the vlogs. As I say, thanks for watching them. If you're actually watching this in Christmas time, hopefully you've had a good Christmas and a very good New Year, and see you on the bank sometime next year.